I never thought one stupid dare would change my entire life. But if you're watching this, well, you already know this isn't a normal story. So let me take you back to the moment everything started. The moment I lost a bet, opened a closet that wasn't mine, and stepped into a version of myself I never expected to meet. I still remember the sound of her voice echoing in my mind. A deal is a deal, Daniel. You lost. 1 week. My clothes. No exceptions. I laughed at first. I thought she was bluffing. But when she crossed her arms and tilted her head, that signature "don't you dare test me" look, my stomach dropped. I walked to her closet like a man being led to trial. When I opened the doors, the scent of her perfume floated out, warm vanilla, soft, almost comforting, and somehow that made everything feel even more real. That's when I saw it. The outfit she'd chosen. A soft, pastel pink blouse. A knee-length pleated skirt. Delicate tights. And, oh God, a pair of small black flats with a tiny bow. I remember whispering, "You're joking." She wasn't. "Put them on," she said with a smile that was way too satisfied. My heart hammered in my chest as I slid the skirt up my legs. It felt lighter than I expected. Cool. Strange. Wrong. But also, and I hated myself for noticing, it fit surprisingly well. The blouse slipped over my body like it belonged there. I stared at my reflection, my mouth hanging open. The clothes softened me, rounded my silhouette, made my posture different, made me different. She stepped beside me. "You look cute," she whispered. My face burned hotter than a stove. I didn't look cute. I looked ridiculous. Didn't I? But the longer I stared, the more something inside me pinged with a kind of electric curiosity I couldn't explain. I should have said no. I should have walked out. But instead, I swallowed hard and whispered, "Okay. 1 week." I didn't know it then, but those 2 words were the beginning of the end of my old life. By the 3rd day, everything was chaos. Wearing her clothes at home was embarrassing enough, but she wasn't satisfied. "You can't spend the whole week hiding," she said. "You're going to work like this." I almost choked on my own breath. What? Absolutely not. But she gave me the same look, arms crossed, eyebrow raised, and for some reason, I just folded. That morning, I walked into the office with my jacket zipped up to my chin, praying no one would notice the skirt underneath. Spoiler, they noticed. "Dude, what are you wearing?" "Is that? Bro, you good?" I stammered excuses. Lost a bet, long story, don't ask. The whispers felt like a swarm of bees buzzing around my ears. By lunch break, I was hiding in the bathroom stall, face buried in my hands, skirt brushing against my thighs with every shaky breath. But the weirdest part? Once the shock faded, a strange calm settled over me. The clothes didn't feel as wrong anymore. If anything, they felt familiar. I caught myself straightening the pleats of the skirt, smoothing it down without thinking, like I'd done it 1,000 times before. That scared me more than the stairs. This part is hard to admit. Because I told myself I was doing it just to get used to the bet. But deep down, I knew that wasn't the full truth. Every night, when the house was quiet, I would go to her closet and explore it little by little. First skirts, then blouses, then cardigans. Then, one night, I picked up one of her dresses, a soft, flowy one with tiny white flowers. I held it up to my chest. Just to see. Just out of curiosity. I told myself I'd put it back. But curiosity is a powerful thing. The fabric slipped over my body with a whisper. It hugged my waist gently, flared at my hips, floated when I moved. I turned in the mirror, watching the skirt swish around my legs. My heartbeat thudded in my throat. My cheeks burned with both shame and fascination. What is happening to me? The next night, makeup. I sat in front of her vanity holding her eyeliner like a grenade. I whispered to my reflection, "It's just for the week, right? Just learning the bet." The first line was messy. The second one was better. Mascara. A bit of lip gloss. Nothing too bold. But when I looked up, I didn't see Daniel. I saw someone softer. Someone curious. Someone trembling with a strange, unfamiliar kind of excitement. A version of me that had been quietly waiting in the shadows. And I couldn't see it. The first time she suggested we go out together, with me fully dressed, I nearly fainted. "No. Absolutely not. I'll die of embarrassment." "You won't," she said gently. "I'll be with you."
I don't know why those words mattered so much.
But they did. We went to a small cafe, far from home. I wore a simple outfit, soft sweater, skirt, tights, flats.
Nothing dramatic. Nothing loud.
But stepping out of the car,
my knees almost gave out.
Every sound felt louder. Every shadow felt like someone staring.
I clung to her arm like my life depended on it.
But then something unexpected happened. A woman held the door open for us and said, "I love your skirt. It's adorable." I froze.
Me? Adorable?
I mumbled something, probably incoherent, but inside, something fluttered. We sat at a corner table. She watched me with a soft smile.
"You're doing better than you think," she whispered. And for the first time, I believed her.
The longer we stayed, the more my fear melted into something warm.
Not pride.
Not confidence. Recognition. Like some quiet part of me had been waiting for this moment, craving it without knowing. On the drive home, I stared at my reflection in the window, the silhouette of the outfit, the soft lines, the gentle way I held myself, and I felt a small, fragile spark of something I couldn't name.
But I wanted more of it.
Everything exploded when someone from work saw me. It was an accident. We were at a mall, I was dressed, feeling slightly braver, and suddenly,
"Daniel?
Dude, is that you?" My blood froze. He stared at me, eyes wide, mouth open, trying to make sense of what he was seeing. My thoughts spiraled. He's going to tell everyone.
My life is over. Why did I do this? I felt my knees wobble.
My breathing turned sharp, fast, panicked. But she stepped in front of me, firm and protective. "Back off," she said sharply. "He's not doing anything wrong." He blinked, confused, but eventually walked away. I stood there trembling, tears threatening to spill.
Not because he saw me,
but because, for the first time, I realized something terrifyingly clear. I wasn't just doing this because of a bet anymore.
I wasn't just pretending. I liked how I felt in these clothes.
I liked the version of myself I saw in the mirror.
I liked her. And I didn't know what that meant. Not yet.
On the last night of the bet, I stood in front of the mirror wearing a soft lavender dress she picked out. I thought I would feel relief, like I was about to escape something stressful. But instead,
I felt a tightness in my chest. A sadness. She noticed immediately.
"You don't have to pretend," she whispered. "You liked this, didn't you?"
My voice shook. I
don't know what's wrong with me." She stepped closer, gently taking my hands. "Nothing is wrong with you.
You found a part of yourself. That's all."
I met my own eyes in the mirror.
Not quite Daniel.
Not fully someone else. But someone whole in a way I hadn't felt in years.
I took a deep breath.
I want to keep exploring," I whispered. Her smile was the warmest thing I'd ever seen. "Then you will. And I'll help you." And just like that, the fear, the shame, the confusion, all loosened, like a knot finally coming undone.
If you're still listening, here's what I learned.
Sometimes the parts of ourselves we're most afraid of are the ones that set us free.
I thought wearing her clothes would humiliate me,
break me,
expose me.
Instead, it revealed me.
Not as someone new,
but as someone I've always been, whispering beneath the surface. 1 week changed my life. And maybe, it was never a mistake at all. I always thought big life changes happen in dramatic scenes, like movie moments where music swells, lights flare, and everything shifts at once. But real change creeps in quietly.
It was the morning after the bet ended.
The lavender dress from last night was still draped across my chair, the soft fabric glowing in the sunlight like it was calling me back. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at it, feeling that same warm knot in my chest. A week ago, the idea of wearing a dress made me break out in hives.
Now,
I missed it.
I missed her version of me.
And I had no idea what to do with that feeling. She knocked lightly on my door.
"Can I come in?"
Her voice was softer than usual, like she already knew what kind of morning this was for me. "Yeah," I breathed. She stepped inside, eyes drifting to the dress, then to me.
She smiled gently. "You keep looking at it." I swallowed. "Yeah, I don't really know why." She sat beside me on the bed, her shoulder brushing mine.
"You don't have to rush anything," she said quietly. "Exploring yourself doesn't mean you have to label anything."
I let out a shaky breath. "I'm scared," I whispered.
"What of?"
That this wasn't just a silly bet.
That I felt right, somehow. And that once I admit that, everything changes.
She didn't say anything at first.
She just took my hand, not forcefully, not pityingly, but like someone anchoring me. Daniel, she said softly, change doesn't erase who you were. It just adds more room for who you could be.
Her words settled over me like a warm blanket. Then she said something I didn't expect.
Want to put it on again? My heart jumped into my throat. Right now? Only if you want to.
I looked at the lavender dress again.
The same dress I'd worn on the final night of the bet, the one that made me feel seen for the first time. My hands trembled as I reached for it. And the moment the fabric slid over my shoulders, the tightness in my chest loosened.
Not completely. Not magically. But enough that I could breathe. She smiled.
You're glowing.
I blushed so hard I thought my face might ignite. But she was right.
I did feel something glowing inside me, something small but steady.
Like the beginning of a flame.
That weekend, she suggested getting out of the house.
We can go somewhere quiet.
Somewhere safe.
I hesitated.
The memory of being spotted at the mall still burned in my mind. But something curious pushed forward inside me, the same electric thread of courage from the cafe. Can I pick the outfit?
I asked. She blinked, surprised.
Then she grinned. Absolutely. My fingers hovered over hangers, brushing fabrics like they were secret doors. I chose a soft beige sweater.
A simple brown skirt.
Warm tights. An outfit that felt gentle and honest. She did my makeup. Light, natural, nothing bold. When she finished, she tapped my chin. Look. I lifted my eyes to the mirror.
A breath caught in my throat. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't flashy. It was me.
A softer me. A quieter me. A me I wasn't afraid of anymore. She squeezed my shoulder. Ready?
I nodded.
We went to a small bookstore. My choice. A comforting place. A place where silence wasn't suspicious and nobody cared who you were. Walking in, I felt that familiar panic tighten around my ribs. But she stayed close, her presence grounding me. Hey, she whispered. No one's looking at you.
I forced myself to breathe. Slow. Steady. And she was right. Most people were too wrapped up in their own worlds to notice me at all.
A couple of glances passed my way, neutral, curious, harmless, but nothing like the stares at the office. As we browsed, she handed me a book. You always said your life felt like it was missing something, she said. Maybe this is part of what you were missing.
I hugged the book to my chest.
And for the first time, I didn't argue. That evening, we walked along a quiet street lit by warm yellow street lamps.
I felt calm. Unusually calm.
Like the world had shrunk to just our footsteps and the gentle swish of my skirt.
She glanced over at me.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Do you feel different when you're like this?
I hesitated. Because I knew she deserved an honest answer.
I feel more like myself, I whispered.
Not pretending.
Not putting on the version of me the world expects.
She nodded thoughtfully.
And if this version of you had a name, she said softly, what would it be? My breath stilled. I hadn't expected the question.
I hadn't let myself think that far. But a name did flicker in my mind. Quiet. Uninvited. Persistent.
I looked down at my hands, fingers twisting nervously. There is a name, I admitted.
I don't know why.
It just came to me. She waited patiently.
What is it? She asked.
I whispered it so softly she had to lean closer to hear.
And when I said it aloud for the first time, it felt like my heart exhaled.
She smiled, warm, proud, gentle.
That name suits you, she whispered.
More than you know. A shiver ran down my spine.
Not fear. Not confusion.
Recognition. As if that name had been waiting, tucked inside my chest, for years. I didn't say it again.
Not yet. But I carried it home like a secret flame.
The next morning, I was in the kitchen pouring cereal when she walked in.
Hair messy from sleep.
Oversized hoodie.
Barely awake. She yawned and said it. The name. The name. My bowl almost slipped out of my hands. She froze, eyes wide.
Oh, sorry. Too soon.
I swallowed hard. No.
Just weird hearing it out loud.
Good weird, she asked. I nodded. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. She smiled, a soft, sleepy smile that warmed something inside me I didn't know how to name. Well, she said, you can try it on whenever you're ready. No pressure.
But I whispered it to myself the rest of the morning. Over and over. Quietly. Like practicing a spell.
And each time, it settled deeper.
Clearer. More real. I wasn't ready to tell the world. God, no.
I wasn't even ready to tell my coworkers or my family.
But there was one person I needed to talk to.
My best friend, Ryan. He'd always been loud, confident, annoyingly blunt. But he'd also been loyal. The kind of friend who'd fight for you, even when you didn't ask.
We met at a park on a chilly afternoon. I wasn't dressed, not quite.
Just soft jeans, a neutral sweater, subtle makeup.
A small step. A safe middle ground. He looked at me for a long moment and said,
Something's different about you.
I took a deep breath.
I need to tell you something.
We sat on a bench. My hands shook.
I've been exploring a different side of myself, I said slowly.
A softer side. Clothes. Makeup.
A name I didn't expect.
He stared. Not judging. Not confused. Just listening.
After a long moment, he let out a breath. Man, that sounds like something you've been holding on to for a long time.
It hit me in the gut. Because he was right. I don't know what it means yet, I whispered.
I'm scared to even admit it.
Ryan nodded slowly.
Look, whatever this is, I've got your back. You don't have to figure it all out today.
My throat tightened.
You're okay with it?
He shrugged.
Dude, or whatever name you choose, you're still you. That's what matters.
I felt warmth bloom in my chest.
Relief.
Gratitude. Hope. Maybe I wasn't as alone as I feared.
That night, after everyone else was asleep, I stood in front of the bathroom mirror.
Just me. The soft sweater. The quiet makeup.
The version of myself I was slowly learning to love. And I whispered the name.
My name. Not Daniel. Not the old me. Not the me pretending to be okay.
A name that made me feel like the world had widened.
A name that made me feel real. I closed my eyes.
Hi, I whispered to my reflection. I think I'm ready to be you.
And for the first time, the reflection smiled back like it believed me.